Yeah. I switched over channels so that I could. Look us up just to make sure if we're but you can't hear us talking, right? Okay. Oh, on the screen, right. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's 46, 5 second delay. So, yeah. Talk about it. Hear me? I wonder if that's the issue that I'm having. It's picking up a different mic than the one that's coming off the voice chat. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to figure that out because it's not using the mic that's coming out of there. That's probably why I have a sound issue. I should have turned the mic off. Okay, well at least that tells me there's an issue with my... Oh shit. No, they're off. So these are the wireless. No, these are just monitors. Yeah. Okay, let's try this. So that means it's picking up the mic that's here, but... My guys, this my main camera, that camera right there. But well, see, I have this camera up here, but I should be able to. Yeah, of course we live. We're live, and we're working on some technical difficulties. People, calm down. Right. Okay. Okay. So you guys can hear me just fine. Can you guys switch over and see if you guys can hear me fine on the stream, though? Should I start singing or something?
Too loud.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Check.
Yep.
Okay, let's see.
Can you hear me okay, though? Check.
Okay, let's see.
Can you hear me okay then?
Oh,
I'm loud.
okay.
Yes, sir.
You're always loud.
All right, let's roll.
Okay, let's roll with it. What is up, guys? It is your boy Sean Flac 2.0 coming at you live and direct here on a Friday night versus the Saturday night. Just want to say welcome to the live stream. A little bit different this week because schedule conflicts. One of the big things that we have to deal with when you guys are dealing with multiple people, multiple time zones is we all have lives. So anyway, so today you actually see that we're down one. So NjordGod couldn't make tonight. Let's see here. It's episode 3 of the Dad's Live podcast. So here in the studio with us this evening is going to be Mr. Krinlee over here. He's on my
What's
left.
up?
Maybe you're right, depending on which way you're looking at it. Mr. Krinlee, what's up, big player?
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Sir, yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm saying? It's another beautiful day. And I got
Yeah.
down here, right here, the homie, Sensei Jon in
All
the
by
house.
myself. It's okay though. We're gonna keep the party rolling.
Right.
What's up with it, y'all? We out here on a Friday night, trying to get it right for you out there and who's listening.
Right. Okay, so tonight's episode is called Let's Talk About It. So there's a couple good things that are going on. One of the main things we did want to talk about was this is going to be the episode prior to Valentine's Day. So, we just kind of want to talk about that, talk about it in general, how we feel about it. Also, a couple things that did happen prior to this episode's Chinese or the Lunar New Year. I would like to bring that up, talk a little bit about that. So just a real quick snippet on that. Talk about that. Of course, there's a lot of craziness that's going on within the first 10 days of the new administration. And also just in general in the world that sometimes I don't know if it actually connects to that or not, but just a bunch of crazy things. So we're going to talk about it. So this episode is called
Let's talk about it.
Let's Talk About It. Okay.
Let's get it going.
Before we get started, got any shout outs you guys want to shout out?
Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and shout out our buddy Chiron.
Okay.
And his
Kyrie.
photography thing, Haney Family Photography.com, I believe. Yeah, he's been busy with it.
Okay. Excellent. It's funny. When I do my shout out, I'll actually talk about him as well. So actually, look, you know what? Normally I'm the third. So since we're down one, I guess I'm up next. So yeah, shout out to Chiron. And, I actually talked to him today. If you guys don't know, on my regular channel, we're here on Facebook, but also my regular YouTube channel, I wanted to start a show called The Intermission. And I did not know where I wanted to go with it, but I decided I want to talk about movies. And one of the things that Chiron actually came up a while ago, we talked about it when I interviewed him years ago, but he would love to talk about movies. And so I reached out to him, and we put together a little contract like what we did, nothing big like that, just to kind of see which way it'll go. And so I'm excited. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll get our first recording under the books, and we'll take it from there. So I'm excited. Want to say shout out to Chiron. Let's go give Chiron
The horns, baby.
Okay, if my the stream deck there it goes. It take a little minute to warm up a little bit. Of course, obviously want to shout out Shadowpack West, shadowpackwest.com. There you could join our patronage. You could check out our blog that we have there. Hopefully we'll be able to kick out some more blogs to you guys, get all our episodes, all of our contact information over there. But the most important, and not necessarily the most important, I just want to say something. If you guys want to support us, you can head over there. You hit that join the patron and become a patron for as little as $1 a month, where you get access to over, and I was looking at it, 29 episodes. Additional episodes of us. Now, is that a bad or good thing? I don't know, but I'm going to call that a good thing.
That's a good thing, baby.
Head over to shadowpackwest.com. Check us out. You can support us over there. And I think that's about it. Thank you all the patrons that are obviously current patrons. I want to thank all you guys for all your support as of now and all your continued support. And all those episodes are there for you. So hopefully you enjoy and you spread the word, and more folks can enjoy that content over there. Sensei.
It's funny you
Yep.
mentioned
Oh, go
blog because I was actually thinking about that.
Okay.
I think it was earlier today, maybe yesterday, about that.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's hold that thought
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
you know, Sensei.
Yeah.
Sensei.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
player's turn.
You
The
know what I'm saying?
player.
Right.
Player partner. It's your player partner's turn, man. Shout out, you know, I know I'll be goofy sometimes, but shout out to my Lord Savior Jesus Christ, who is the head of my life and the head of my family's life. I'm glad to be here. Shout out to our missing partner, Njord. We'll see him next time here on the Dad's Life podcast. And I want to get a special shout out. Once again, I know we mentioned her last week and it was towards the end of the show, but I want to do it at the beginning of this show. Shayla Walker at SDW Consulting and Training for interviewing. She gave us some great tips for interview process that we covered last week. So if you want to check out that episode, please go back to episode 2 and check out the whole episode and the tips she gave for an interview. You can also find her at SDW Consulting _training on Instagram. That's SDW Consulting _training on Instagram. Shout out to you, homie.
For sure. Well, what up, D Brute in the house? What's up, player? Give my boy the horns.
Yeah, who was that?
That's my brother Dwight. You know what I'm saying? He was on
Okay.
the post.
What's up, man?
You know, let me go ahead and I want to throw that link out there for Shayla Walker. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there in the chats on both sides here. So again, if you guys are interested in getting some more tips and tricks when it comes to getting training and things like that, you can go ahead and follow her. Links right there in the chat. And if you guys are over here on Facebook, oh, here we go. Oh, and he's over here on Facebook too. You know, man, I got it. My mic is in the way of those comments, so let me move it over to the side a little bit. What's up,
Yeah, he just
brother,
switched
man?
over to YouTube.
Okay, no delay
Yeah.
on this one. Okay, sounds good.
That's what's up.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Krinlee, you had a little thing about the blog. Did you want to share that before we? Oh, you know what?
No,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
well,
I'm getting
I
ahead
was
of-
just real quick.
Okay, go
I just
ahead.
want to let you know I was thinking about the blog again, so
Okay.
I hadn't forgot about it.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know.
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking about it.
That was it.
But
Oh, what do we got to do first
Go ahead.
before we go with the show? We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. What we got?
first, we got what's in your cup. Try not to be monotone tonight.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right. What's in?
What is in your cup?
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, Krinlee, you want me? I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go because mine's
Go ahead.
pretty. So you know, I got the big old tumbler. Now it ain't no Stanley, but it's just as good and half the price.
You're right.
But I
That's
got
right.
half the price, and what's inside is some Crystal Light. Man, you see how that rhymed? You know what I'm saying? Some lemonade crystal or limeade crystal lights up in here. You know, kind of keeping it PG.
Yeah, real.
Delicious. All right, Mr. Crane, what you got in your cup, player?
Same old Corona Premier.
Oh yeah. You know what? I gotta get a case of those. Gotta get a case of those so we can Corona la cerveza más fina. Sensei, what you sipping
I'm
on this
keeping it
evening?
real.
You on that chai
I'm
tea
keeping it
again?
real. Yep,
Okay.
you know it, man. I'm trying to keep it real, PI, man. You know I gotta get to that job site in the morning, man. Can't be blowing no nifty fours or anything. So I'm gonna keep it real cool. I got me some chai tea. I also got my water sitting over here next to me.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know.
For sure.
well,
D Brew,
yeah,
we see
man.
you in. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off though, because I see D Brew. He said he got to go grab something. So when you get something, let us know in the comments what you got.
Yeah, let me know what you got, brother.
Okay, so let's talk about it. He said your español is more terrible. I'm just reading off the Corona bottle. If y'all didn't know that, that's actually Corona's slogan, and it's in there in the emblem. Krinlee, if you could actually see that, it should say Corona la cerveza más fina or la cerveza más fina.
Yeah, it's right there. Well, right there.
Yeah, it's in the emblem. Yeah, see, so you know, like I said, you know who did that? That reminded me is Bruce Buffer. yeah, you know,
let's
the ring
get
announcer.
ready to
Right.
rumble.
Yes. And he would be
Yeah.
like, and
It's that
tonight's
$1 million
main
man.
event is sponsored
Yeah.
by Corona. Corona La Cerveza Más Fina.
Okay.
So,
Okay. You know what you're doing over there.
right. Oh, okay. Carbonated water. Okay, you got that Waterloo over there. Okay. So let's get the show started. We about 20 minutes in already, which we're not 20 minutes in on the recording. But go ahead. What you got?
So before we get to the real serious topics, you know, I want to throw a little sports knowledge in there for all my sports fans out there. You know, we got the Super Bowl coming up. And as you can see, it's red in my background. So this is what I'm going for. We got the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, I just want to see history be made, man.
Okay.
We got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles going down. What is it? On the 9th of February.
Okay.
So, you know, check it out. You know, leave in the comments below who y'all think gonna win. I'm rolling with the Chiefs. You know, I just want to see a little history be made. I ain't never seen this before. We always see people get close. You know, we seen Brady get close. We seen Montana get close. You know, I want to see it happen. Give me that 3-peat, baby. You know, even though I am a Raiders fan, they are in my division. You know, but right now I'm putting that to the side.
Okay.
And I just want to see some history be made. And call me whatever you want, you know. I ain't no real Raider fan. I can hear y'all out there right now. You ain't no real Raider fan if you want them to win, but it's cool. I just want to see a little history.
Right. You know what? Being a team fan shouldn't take away your enjoyment of the actual game in general.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I see D-Brood out there talking about the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see you playing.
Hey, man, shout out to our boy Rick. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Eagles fan himself.
Yeah.
Big Rick out there.
Big Rick.
You know?
Yeah.
He
NFC Eagles. Okay.
Right. Okay, that's what
Fly Eagles fly for you, huh?
Okay, so we got
All
the
right,
Super Bowl coming up. When is the Super Bowl?
February 9th.
February 9th. So that's
Yep.
actually
That's
next week.
That's a Sunday next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then the week after that, we got the NBA All-Star Game, which is going to be in San Francisco.
Oh,
Yep. Ace Arena.
right.
Yep. So it's going to be big time.
Oh, they gonna get
Yeah,
all,
the
area.
traffic was bad.
they gonna get all the homeless out of San Francisco, huh?
Oh, yeah. You know, they're going to clean it up. They got to clean it up just like they did when the Salesforce people came through.
Right. Or you remember when
You know?
we held the Super Bowl, you know, that one year?
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know, it was crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, the Bay Area got a few little things coming. Well, we ain't got no Super Bowl, but you know, the Super Bowl will be back, I believe, in 2026 though. Or yeah. The next one I believe is.
Oh,
yeah, they cleaned up in China.
When China came, yeah, they sure did. Put up all their fences.
Yep.
Okay. So, you know what? It's funny because we're gonna segue into that. I did want to talk about the Lunar New Year, and I'm calling it the Lunar New Year, not the Chinese New Year, because.
And why is that?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm so glad you asked.
'Cause I've always called it Chinese New Year, and I seen it on my damn Apple thing. It says Lunar New Year. I mean, it's always been, I guess, on the politically correct lunar.
Right.
You know,
well,
but
so it is. It's called Chinese New Year because that's what it's mostly associated with. But actually, there's more Asian countries that follow it. You know, so it's like Vietnam, Tibet. Japan is not one of them, interestingly enough. But like Thailand, like all these other cultures also follow the lunar calendar. So it's not just the Chinese. And I didn't learn that until this year, and I'm going to tell you how I found out. One of the, my wife's getting her nails done at the shop, and they be the Vietnamese in there talking it up or whatever. So my wife had talked about wanting to go to Japan to this one lady, and she was super juiced because even though she's Vietnamese, she loves going to Japan, right? She's family, whatever the case is, goes to Japan. So she's like, hey, yeah, all this stuff or whatever. And so my wife's like, asking her about the new year and if the Vietnamese people, they celebrate it. And she was like, yeah. And she, her nail lady's so offended how it's just associated with the Chinese culture versus it just being, it's the Lunar New Year. So I was
Okay.
like, oh, then I looked it up and I was like, talk to Chat GPT, my second best friend, and said, what other Asian cultures celebrate the Lunar New Year? And this whole list of them came up. So, this was this was
He said, "Call it what it is, man."
right.
Just
So,
like, hey,
I was like, okay, like I said, learn something new. It is something that did just pass this past year. As far as like school goes, I mean, it's not one of the major holidays, but it is a federal holiday, and it's just interesting that I learned something new about it this past year. Was that it's just not Chinese. It's like the Lunar New Year. So it's not necessarily associated with a specific group of people versus a diaspora. And if y'all don't know what that means, look that up. Go ahead and ask Chat GPT what that means, because I use a 3-syllable.
diaspora. How you say that?
Diaspora. That's 4 syllables.
Okay, diaspora.
Diaspora. So anyway.
Spora. Okay.
So this fool. I love you,
I
D.
know. Yeah, D man, he going crazy.
Right.
Columbus Day is Columbus Day, not indigenous people, huh?
Okay, hey man, I'm gonna let you have your speak on that. So yeah, that was the one little thing I wanted to add. We talking about it. So like I said, kind of transitioned into that, and
Diaspora.
yeah, diaspora. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Is it diaspora?
Yeah. Diaporsa, diaspora. Yeah, that's it. Something like that.
Diaspora.
No, diaspora. You know what? And I'm y'all laughing, but Hanama Bay in Hawaii. Y'all familiar with Hanama Bay? So
no.
My dad. Okay, so it's on Oahu. It's like a big tourist trap. People go there. They put buses of tourists there or whatever. And this bay where they usually go snorkeling, and so it's pronounced Hanama Bay, right? Well, my dad, he would call it Hanauma Bay. So I always grew up calling it Hanauma Bay, right? And and then my wife, she was like, "Where'd you learn that?" And I'm like, "My dad always called it Hanauma Bay, and it's Hanama Bay." Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I better give us the right way to say it, huh?
Right, right. So, anyways. So Sensei, you got a little red background there.
Yeah, that's for our better half too, and not just for the Chiefs, but
Okay, let's talk about it.
Valentine's Day is coming up. It's approaching, man. We got to get ready. It ain't no last minute. I mean, shit, I'm always last minute, but
Amen to that.
let's talk about a little bit. What we do for our wives. Give us a little sneak peek into some of the things. I mean, you don't want to ruin what's going on. Or do you guys even celebrate Valentine's Day? I'm gonna tell you right now, mine's don't let it go. It's her birthday month and it's Valentine's Day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We
Can I even say that on stream? I'm not going to. Right. I'm not going to, but yeah, man.
Hey, D, man, hey, y'all, hop in the chat, man. He going crazy. But yeah, no. Valentine's Day, still, I know they, the money grab. It's a pagan holiday, whatever you want to call it. But we do stuff with the kids. We make some cards. They like especially my daughter. She loves making cards. We make cookies. They love doing that. So we include the kids in it as well. Not only to show love to them, but we also are able to. It's like National Love Day. So we teach them, hey. Not only do you love people each and every day, but, hey, today we're going to show a little extra love. You over there cracking up. So when we, okay, so look, y'all back in the day, did y'all do Valentine's cards for the people at school?
Oh yeah. So
Oh, yeah, you get the box. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
get the
get the
box of
box.
like 36, and they're like basically
Yeah,
little postcards. You write the names.
yeah. Write your
Yeah,
name. You know, you come home with the list
yeah,
full of students' names, and then the teacher hand them out, and you can
yeah.
hand out cards. You didn't want to
And
be the one that
candy.
not have no cards though,
Right, right.
because everybody got you a card, but you ain't get nobody no card.
And the cool thing was nowadays you go to the Dollar Tree and get the whole box. You know what I'm saying? And get it for
Mm-hmm.
like get a couple boxes.
It's $1.50 now. It ain't no dollar.
Okay, my bad. Inflation. Okay, inflation.
Yeah. But yeah. So, yeah. So we do stuff with the kids, but I also got to do stuff for my wife. A little romance. Maybe light a candle. That you know what that symbol is? That symbol is to use what? What D? You gotta use what?
He said the love muscle. I'm
The
done.
love muscle, man. That's the international symbol, man. Light a candle. But yeah, no.
Okay.
So I can give you one example. So let me see. As a dad, we still have the kids here. You may not always have somebody to watch the kids or whatever. So no, they going to sleep a little earlier that night. We got a fireplace. I'll have a little fire going. This week is on a Friday night. So, this year. So, hey, we get the little fire going, light a few candles, maybe order out or maybe I cook, whatever you guys feel like doing. I like to do mines by the fire picnic style. So, I have a little basket, you know what I mean? A little champagne on ice.
Sensei, the
You know,
game is to be sold, not told. Play it
I'm,
just
tr-
a
I'm
little bit.
okay. I give you a little bit, a
Okay,
little bit,
that's
a
too much.
little bit.
You done people taking notes and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, calm down a little bit on that player.
Yeah. So when you got two little ones, it's special when mom and dad get to have a little time for themselves.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of the times, our Valentine's Day and her birthday kind of coincide. So a lot of times we're on a trip somewhere. You know what I mean? And I'll kind of include it within our trip, like that. So, you guys got any little woos for your wife? Anything you
Man, I
guys
want to
do?
hear what Krinlee got. He looked like the master of romance over there. With the beard. You know what I'm saying? He looking all suave and
I'm
stuff
just
like
saying.
that.
But and one more thing, as it always ain't got to be like over the top or anything. Women love things that are just that we can think of. Because shit, truth be told, I barely even think. I'm just like in robot mode sometimes. Yeah. Hey, I was telling somebody today. You come home, you give her the what's up. After you've been married for a little bit, you be like, "What's up?" You know what I mean? You get the kids to bed, you turn over, you say good night, and that's it. You go to bed.
Man.
Yeah.
And shout out to D Bruton, man. He putting out too much out there. Playing talking about some
keep it.
Rod Stewart. Tonight's the night.
Hey, hey, turn it on, baby. And
All right,
light a candle.
All right, Krinlee, what you got? What you got on the topic, if anything?
I mean, we keep it pretty low key. I always definitely get her the card. My wife's she loves cards. It don't matter what the occasion. If you get her a card, she's happy. But over the years, there's been a few times. I'm sure I bought her jewelry a few times, stuff like that. But we don't really get big into it. Well, more so for the kids than we do ourselves. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I always liked getting the stuffed animal from my dad. As weird as that might be, like just getting that stuffed animal from my dad, and that was all I wanted. And I was happy. But you was talking about making cookies for the kids on Valentine's, or with or for the kids on Valentine's Day. I was thinking, you got to get the cookies out, and your wife leans over and she's like, "Remember, those over there are the ones with melatonin in them." Got to get the kids to bed early tonight.
Yeah, get the kids to bed early, man.
Okay. That was a good one. Oh man,
That was good.
One. Oh man. Okay. Hey, you know what? D Brew didn't ask that good question. Sensei, you
That's
want
a
to
good question.
read that one off? What'd he say?
Hey, D Brute, man, that's a great question. His question is, have you guys ever got gifts Ever received gifts from your wives?
I guess you know what. Let
Not
me.
wives. I'm sorry, not wives, but wife.
Well, it depends, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, I'm not in that. Anyways, so as a matter of fact, for us, Valentine's Day is not a big deal, and I specifically, when I talked to him, we started dating a long time ago, whatever. Valentine's Day was to me is manufactured. Um, and I kind of get this from my dad when he was like, why do we have to have one day for just any situation? So I just when Valentine's Day come, I don't need one day to prove to you that I love you. You know what I'm saying? I don't need one day to prove to you that hey, this is what it is. So it was never a big deal, and I kind of put that out there up front. I normally we'd go big on birthdays. Like Christmas is not even the big thing because I was like, well, your birthday is the day you arrived here on
Yeah.
Earth. So to me, that's more important because that's the day, you know what I'm saying, that eventually led us to being together and all that stuff. So birthdays for me have been the biggest thing. So when it comes to Valentine's Day, it's actually what we like about it so far is that my youngest daughter, her birthday is she just turned 7, so I'm gonna go ahead and give her the horns right there. Shout out to my baby girl. Um, but she's into the whole girly pink, sparkles, all this stuff. So it's great because when her birthday come around, there's always a bunch of red, sparkly, pink decorations that we always have access to. So that's
That's
actually
nice.
a little cool part. But we do it with the kids, like the wife, and kind of going right and kind of circle back to D Bruce's question in the chat. There was she always just gets us cards. She gets the cards for us. So she always every year I get a card and some treats. You know what I'm saying? If anything else, I ain't gonna get too X rated on here or nothing like that. But a card, treats. Generally, it is for the kids, kind of the same way. But I specifically have kind of. I'm not gonna call it a boycott against Valentine's Day. I just see it what it is, and to me, it is a money grab, and that's where I kind of stand on the whole Valentine's Day thing. We do things big for each other on our birthdays, and then obviously Christmas for the kids and things like that. But yeah, Valentine's Day. Again, I don't need one day to kind of express my love for you, or whatever. And then my wife's different too. She ain't really into flowers or anything like that. So it's not like, she'd rather have an experience, go somewhere and do
Yeah.
something. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I gotta have them flowers, man. Them roses, man. Maybe some white, some pink, some red. Shit. Even during throughout the year, I get
right.
her favorite little flowers. But yeah, it's got to be them love roses. You know what I mean? On Valentine's
Can't be no
Day,
yellow one, huh?
better be a little Seeds candy. There better be a box of Seeds candy or something.
Okay.
You know.
Um, Krinlee, have you gotten anything from your wife for Valentine's Day besides like a card or something like that?
I don't think so. But I'm not really I'm big on like receiving gifts anyway. When my birthday, I don't want nothing. Christmas, I don't really want nothing. I just want to be there hanging out with everybody.
Shit,
Yeah.
we the same way. I'm grown. I don't need you to buy me shit. I buy my
Yeah,
own shit.
exactly.
Hey, let me see.
What
I
about you,
think.
Sensei?
Yeah. So when we first started dating, yeah, my wife made man. She used to make shit, right? Yeah. So she used to make. I remember the first thing she ever made me was this box, right? And it had cards in it, and it had every month of the year, right? When you open the card, it would say something that I could do or give me an idea of a date to take her on. You feel me? Like,
Okay, a little how to,
yeah,
a little guide to my heart kind of
yeah,
situation. Okay.
yeah. That was when we first started dating, and I
Mm-hmm.
still ain't used up all the opened them all still. They somewhere in the shed, but hey, I try, Sometimes you just gotta roll with what you got and know what you're doing sometimes, you know what I mean,
Right.
fellas? But no, some of them I did open, or most of them, but I still got the box and all the little cards and everything. So you know what? I might take a trip out to the shed and look at some of them old things and bring some of that old thing back, for good time. Let me see. So my wife used to make like let me see, like scrubs and shit.
Scrubs? You
You know
mean
what I mean?
like hospital
Like body
scrubs?
scrub. Nah,
Oh,
body
like soap.
scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah, like soap. So I got that, 1 year. So yeah, she's gotten me some gifts. Now we definitely, being married for this long. I mean, it ain't that long, but it's long enough. We do the cards. If I can take her on a little date, we go on a little romantic date, or I make a little romantic date. Within the household. We got a full deck outside, so I can enclose it. Get the music right. You know what I mean? Turn the heater on. Maybe watch a movie or something on the deck.
Right.
Give me y'all some game right now. If you got a little deck, man,
Well, hey, but that's
enclose
only
that
if you
joint.
got the deck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If you
Right,
got one,
yeah.
enclose it. You can go get the little white sheet, or they got things to sell. You can get the little projector. You know what I mean, and turn on a movie, man.
Okay.
Have your little couch out there.
Right. So, dude, bro, he said he got a story about flowers, and he said a box and a rock. So, I mean, I don't know where he wants to go with that one. But
He
we
said, "I'm
gonna
gonna lay out in the front of the fireplace of the bearskin rug, buck naked. You know what I mean? With the wife. Hey, player, do what you do, man. It's just you too, man. Hey, lock the doors, man. I got my kids. Some of my y'all don't shoot me, but I got a couple of kids. Doors is the locks is flipped on the outside, so shit, they can be locked in their room too."
Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean that's an old school trick, man. That's how my door room door was when I was growing up. Flip that joint.
He's stupid. Okay.
I gotta pee. Hold it.
Okay, so D Bruce said it's a little bit too long to write, so maybe he'll join us on a future episode and be able to share the story of flowers. Okay. All right. So what else we got going? What else we gonna talk about today?
Man, did y'all hear this week about the whole little episode with the the flight? I mean the
plane in the
airport.
Black Hawk.
Yeah, what's y'all take on that?
Man, that's crazy. You don't want me to go down no rabbit hole.
I know. Give us a little simple rabbit hole. Don't dig too deep. Just give us what you think.
Well, I mean, so if you guys haven't, and I'm surprised unless you guys are living under a rock, and if you guys living under a rock, you're probably not listening to our podcast. But there was a
today they are. Today they are. They came from up under the rock.
Okay. There was an incident where was it American Airlines or was it Delta Airlines? One of the airlines.
American.
It was American. Okay, so they were flying back from Wichita, Kansas, and they were circling around waiting for the control tower to give them the okay to come land. And so they gave them the okay to come land, and at the same time, there was a Black Hawk that was apparently doing training exercises in the area. And they also called the control tower, and this is just what I read in like a Kron, when Kron, which is our local news station out here, the little transcript that they had in the article, and it basically said the control tower had said, okay, we have a flight coming in, and they told the helicopter to come in after the plane touched down, so they come in behind it, basically, right? So obviously that was the last thing that I read, that's what the last command was or instruction was, and it was a mid-air collision. Now what they've said about this is this route actually was it's a training route where they do training for Black Hawk pilots, and it stays over the river. And if you were able to find before they kind of took it all down, but they kind of showed in a diagram, and take this with a grain of salt, that looked like the Black Hawk veered from its normal path because it's supposed to stay over the river, and where they made contact was not where the river was, because it's supposed to stay over the river. So that's what I saw. President Trump came out with a press conference that did not go well. I'm not going to go into all those details.
Blamed it on DEI.
Yeah, so I don't want to go into all those details or whatever. Then he had to come back. Just read the last thing when he came back was he had said that the Black Hawk was too high. The altitude was too high for that route, and they're only supposed to be 200 feet and below, and that's their flight deck or whatever it's called, their limit. And apparently the Black Hawk was flying too high for that route. That was the last thing I saw. Last thing I heard as far as like official story not going out of. I believe they pulled 40 bodies out of the river. Um, and I forget where the Potomac, is that where that's at, or is that something else?
Mhm.
Don't quote me on that, but
I believe it is.
they went from a rescue mission to a recovery mission a couple hours after, and deemed everybody died. There were no survivors from either the Black Hawk or the plane. There were among them there were figure skaters, and I guess there were two
Hmm.
skaters that were Russian figure skaters, and I looked them up, and they were and this is like in the 90s. They were big figure skaters in
Yeah.
the 90s, like I think 94, 96 or something like that. And
Hmm.
they were coaches of this group that was coming from like a tournament or like a workshop in Wichita, Kansas. And so them with other passengers, not just them, but notably that's who they put out there. Like it was a group of these. And again, I sit there and this is when I always look at news lines with a grain of salt. Like, why was their nationality a big deal to be put into the headline versus just saying a group of figure skaters for the U.S. blah blah blah.
Right.
Why do they have to put up? Oh, they were Russian, and then to me, that's what sets off the rabbit hole, right?
Okay.
People are like, oh, now you want to take, if you get on the TikToks and things like that, oh, they were Russian spies. This was, a setup. I think we just heard just recently they couldn't find the black box. So
For the yeah.
yeah. So again, I don't want to go into that because there's just so much, and then a lot of it has to kind of circle back to how Trump framed it. Talk about the DEI thing. And then again, not saying it's true because I don't know, so I don't want to put too much out there. But they're saying that not him, but his administration fired the FAA director, freeze the hiring of all traffic controllers. And the controller tower was understaffed at the time, and that's why. Like I said, that's the stuff that I'm seeing. And then I don't want to
Hey,
put too much into it until there's actual factual people coming out and talking about it. Go ahead.
hey, but doing what we do and working where we work, you know what I mean? One day wouldn't have made a difference in the hiring process of a controller or a tower. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we deal with that daily. Something similar in transportation. You know what I mean? When it comes to control centers or tower operators that we listen to and get instructions from, and I'm sure it's just pretty much the same thing because I've listened to like transmissions, and I can from being in the profession that I'm in, I can kind of understand exactly, I don't know their milepost or however they do their mileage, but I can hear, what they're talking about or kind of make out what they're, saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying, still not, covering for, President Trump or whatever, but in my opinion, one day of people of him stopping won't put the amount of people from training into the tower. Now, whether it was understaffed, or running below their normal, the
Staffing
normalcy of
level.
people that's supposed to be, staffing level. It still should have been adequate enough to be able to guide the
The plane in.
helicopter.
I mean both.
Guide the helicopter. Keep the helicopter below where it's supposed to go, and the plane not come in.
Yeah.
So I don't mean, in the figure skater thing, it. Who was it? What was that lady's name? The one that got hit in the knee.
Oh, Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah, she came on. Yeah, she came on the news, and she was talking about. Well, she was very like choked up about what was going on.
Right.
And they reminded us of a similar accident that had claimed like more than 20 figure skaters before that was in the 90s.
Oh.
It was another accident that happened. Yeah, so I'm not, it was kind of like a eerie feeling for one of the ladies who was an old skater, figure skater, and she remembers both. She's here for both of what happened.
Right.
And it was a young kid from I think he might have been Asian. He was actually a figure skater, and he was known for his twirls and jumps. So he was, and then there was another Caucasian young lady. But they didn't, and then they talked about, I guess, the two 34-year-old and a 53-year-old steward and stewardess.
Yeah.
But really, they didn't talk about anybody else. You know what I mean?
And that's where, with the headline, it's real early that, hey, we're going to point out this. So yeah, like you said, I'm taking everything with a grain of salt, and I'm not saying one thing or the other. I think you bring out a very good point. I see we got some D Bruton here in the chat. He's saying that Donald Trump did not blame actual DEI, but he pointed out DEI programs prioritize hiring folks that check boxes over people who passed aviation programs. So that's the state he took. I mean, if that's not blaming DEI programs, I think that kind of defines what he was saying. There's many lawsuits about hiring practices. Overall, the incident was terrible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will say one thing, regardless. Sensei brought up a very good point. It's not like these are new hires in these control towers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not, and what I would say is what he spoke on.
Training.
Yeah, you're not just going to be in control tower. Like, I know the programs that we have to go through are at least, 18 to 24 months to get into our program that we have here when it comes to staffing and things like that. They don't just put anybody, they're not just going to put anybody in that airport, because apparently that is the most secured airspace in America. It's in Washington, D.C. So with that, I don't know. Again, that's why, even though all those things were pointed out, I think Sensei brought up a really good point to say none of that happened within that week could have affected what happened on that day, because these aren't new people you're putting in there. These aren't things that, these are, the dude probably worked Monday through Friday, whatever the case is. And of course, they're not going to let anybody in a control tower that doesn't belong there. So they could, again, I don't know how true Trump's statement is about, oh, they're prioritizing people. You're not going to put anybody in there that's not certified. That's the bottom line. So for him to say that, according to what you put on here, who didn't pass over people who passed the aviation program, all of them have to sit and be a certified sitting air traffic controller. So, maybe go ahead, Krinlee.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I think kind of the point of that is like, say they have two candidates. One of them is a female who passed and everything, but then you have another pilot who's got more experience and could possibly be better qualified for the job. They're going to give it to the female over him, just as an example.
I just don't think that
stuff like that
had to do with what happened on that day.
You're
not going to have a certified. You're not going to put a uncertified part. Like, to be certified, you had to go through all the training. You had to. They don't put you in there by yourself. And even as a student, if you're sitting in that chair, you have a trainer that's behind you. And we work in transportation, so if you guys don't know, we're not going to explicitly say where we work, but we work, and I'm a trainer. So I know I'm not going to put somebody in any kind of control tower or anything like that unless, number one, they're certified or there's a certified person with them. So what I'm saying, and I think Sensei had brought it up as well, is that all those things that happened in that 1 week really may not be connected to what happened in that control tower at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, but here's the smoke and mirrors. We're not concerned about the incident or the investigation because he came out prior to any real information coming out and making opinions. He came out and said, well, we didn't have the investigation, but we have opinions and we're going to voice them now. That's what he said in the press conference. So, but as the president, you're supposed to be like, look, you're supposed to shut your mouth. If you don't have the information, you're supposed to say, hey,
hey,
you're supposed to say,
that's not his strong suit.
I know that, but But as you're supposed to calm everybody down, let them know that, hey, the investigation is going on, and I'm not going to speak on my own personal opinion. And they asked him, hey, do you have any proof that this was it? And he said, no, I got common sense. That's what his answer was when the reporter asked him, do you have any proof of what happened? And he was like, no, I got common sense. That's his answer. That's his answer. You got common sense. But you think that the Kansas City Chiefs are from Kansas. From the great state of Kansas. He put out a tweet or on his Truth Social, whatever it's called, a post. Oh, you know, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, representing the great state of Kansas, not knowing that it's in motherfucking Missouri. And this is the same dude that's going to go out there and be like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. Come on. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways. What do we got out here on the chat? Let's look at it. Let's see here. Staffing short, over hiring them because they were short. I mean, like I said, man, that control tower is supposed to be the most secured airspace in the United States. I don't see them being short-staffed. I don't see that. I don't see that. I don't know though. That this is my opinion. I don't know what staffing levels look like. I don't. What I'm gonna say is I don't like how people are trying to put what he did in that first week to what is happening without any proof. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not defending the boy, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm not liking is that they're making a spin saying, well, he did this, and this is why this happened. Those things wouldn't have affected staffing 5 days later. Unless literally the only thing he could have done is if he sent them home like Reagan did. Reagan was like, oh, y'all fired. Now, if he did that, now that would have been a different story. That I could be like, oh, okay, hey, this is what's going on. But he didn't. But
yeah, because when he cut off all the federal funding and everything else, we had a judge come and override his decision until what, February 3rd, I believe? You hear about that?
I say that one more time. I was reading a comment.
When he cut off all the federal funding for he halted all federal just funding.
Yeah, for like Medi-Cal, Medicaid, all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, in I don't think that had anything to do with the air traffic controllers.
No.
Or they're federal, because they're federal employees, right?
That's correct. Yes, they are.
Yeah. And I mean, how many times have you seen, I'm not saying we are
advocating
any better or not advocating, but our job is any more difficult than their job or more difficult. But how many times have you heard on the radio where you have one controller doing all the lines?
Oh, it happens all the time.
And so I'm wondering, in that instance, maybe they say understaffed, but they also have to have a minimal amount of people in there in order to do their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same. It's the same with us. There has to be at least 2 controllers.
Right.
Even if one is only on the console.
Right.
There's another one somewhere, waiting to get on, or if anything jumps off, can get on. And then you also have your managers and stuff who are trained in order to, in emergency situations, to be able to take hold of the reins and get on it themselves.
Right. That's correct. That's for us. And I think I get where you're saying with this. Right. But at the same time, where was I going? Because I was looking at this comment, trying to listen to you, and apparently I can't multitask on a Friday night, which is fine. I got water in this motherfucker. But yeah, as far as the staffing goes, it wasn't an emergency until it was. You know what I'm saying? So why would additional personnel jump on? It's potentially is routine. Okay, the plane's coming in. You have the right of way. The helicopter's coming. Hey, a plane's coming, because they're all on the same top group. It ain't like, the helicopter not knowing that a plane's coming and the plane not knowing, because they're not switching channels. They're all like on the controller's talk group. Like, hey, this, hey, I'm coming. Okay, cool. The helicopter got to know that because they're waiting for the traffic. So again,
Yeah.
and also the other thing too is regardless of who said the emergency or who said what command or instruction or whatever, they don't control what the pilots do. So that's just like saying, I'm going to tell you to stop here. If you don't stop, that's not on me as a person giving an instruction. That's on the person that's operating the vehicle.
Right.
So again, I want to say it was most likely, um, it's terrible. Just like what D. Brew was
Right.
saying here in the chat.
Right.
Regardless of whatever and whoever's at fault, it is terrible. Again, I hate saying stuff like, but thoughts and prayers. It's just, again, it could be any of us. We're coming back. We're about to land. We've been in the air for however many hours. We about to land, and boom, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been anybody at any time, anywhere. And I think the focus needs to be on, again, making sure the families, they're getting what they need, the emotional support and things like that. And then they need to figure out what the hell really happened and make sure they learn from it so the shit don't happen again. That's the bottom line.
Right.
Because it is what it is, and we could coach quarterback and we could try, this person's at fault, this person's at fault, this person's at fault. But, it is what it is. We just need to make sure that we're learning from what's really going on and moving forward with it. And the best thing we could do for those families to ensure an accident like this don't happen again. And, here in, as this was going on, we talked about the prior accident that happened here in our area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, where that Asiana flight, they came in, and I don't have all the details, but I know on our local channel, as this was happening, they're like, the one before this that was the most deadly prior to that was because of what happened on the Asiana flight. And what they learned through their investigation was that the Boeing 747 or whatever had complex flight instruments in it that the flight crew did not know how to operate.
No. Was that a 737? Was that one of them new planes?
I don't know. Don't.
Or it had it had got updated, but I know what you mean.
But they were saying that the instruments Boeing put in, the flight crew was not versed on how to use that equipment properly and thoroughly. And when it landed too low. The tail end clipped, and then it started tumbling. So, but they learned from that, and that's what the whole investigation. That's what started bigger investigations into Boeing's, quality control and all those. And that's what, remember the whole thing with Boeing's doors falling off and their wheels falling off, and their inspectors they don't have inspectors. They basically have mechanics that inspect their own work and sign off on their own work. So a lot of stuff kind of came from that, and that's, again, any tragedy or any incident that happens like this, the best thing to do is ensure that we learn from it, figure out everything that happened, and ensure that it doesn't happen again. And that's what the whole safety of Boeing's planes and all that stuff came under scrutiny because of that happening in 2016. So,
it was a 77. It was a Boeing 777. That's what it was.
Okay, is that the ones that they ended up grounding the whole fleet because? I
think they ended up. Yeah, I think that's one of the ones. Because remember, we were having also issues with them new 737s, where they were I don't know if it was if they weren't versed on the autopilot, or the autopilot was actually like kicking in when it wasn't supposed to, something like that. But yeah, that was a 777-200 ER.
And indeed, bro, the 777, that's a bad model number. Man, it's only good on a slot machine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So he also said I guess there was one traffic controller over multiple vessels, the new norm over resources, Same thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, I don't know how this has become the routine due to resources. But I don't know if that's just something, because they didn't freeze the hiring or anything process for that. Again, I don't want to get caught up in that, in the staffing levels and the hiring and the freezing and firing of the FAA director and all this stuff. I'm
They
not.
got to blame somebody, man.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I don't want to engage in that conversation. Not to discount what D Bruce putting here in the chats, but it's like I feel that's part of the smoke and mirrors. Oh well, this person that I don't even, and that's why I said I don't like the fact that right now, without having facts to prove that what old boy did prior in that week are connected to what this is, or even remember. So now we got a new one, right? The new airplane crash in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You gonna tell me it's his fault too?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that don't make no sense to me. It don't make sense
no
to
sense,
me.
man.
And they talking about the FAA. In our area, San Luis Obispo or San Carlos, the airport they had down there. They're talking about shutting down their control tower because of whatever stuff happened. It's just crazy how it's like airplane after airplane after airport. That's the issue right now, and people are sitting here trying to place blame, and it's like, without having factual information to know this is what's going on. And that whole thing in San Carlos was like, this is all Trump's doing. Dude been in for a week, and I don't think he could do it on this side because basically the FAA made so the thing in our area, San Carlos, they were like, the FAA or they contracted out their air traffic controllers, right? And they were like, okay, this is how much we're gonna pay. And then what they forgot to do when they were doing a pay structure was also account for the cost of living. So wherever they're normally contracted, right? Let's say we pay them $10 an hour, but because of everybody's in Iowa or Kansas, $10 an hour is with the cost of living. But in California, we didn't adjust for that. So the controllers was like, we ain't fucking with y'all for that pay, and we're not, and they can't hire nobody. Right. And then they went and was like, well, we don't have no staffing. We don't have this. We don't have that. We're going to ask the FAA for some help. Can y'all supply some people to keep our thing staffed while we're dealing with this contract thing? And so that has nothing to do with the administration. But people are like, oh, yeah, this and that. Nah, man, I need facts. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But don't sit here and go down that rabbit hole saying, oh boy, and because of something he did. Now, if you can prove to me that he did and what he did, or his administration did, or whoever his cronies are, did something to domino effect to what's really going on, okay, but if it's opinion, if it's conspiracy theory, I can't speak on it. And I don't want to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we not going to talk about it.
I mean, because you put if you give that topic energy, it's like you're fueling the fire. Right. Versus saying, hey, is this fire worth fighting or is it worth spreading? It's like, no, I don't want to. Going back to the chat here, the facts about hiring process have been brought up in courts previously. Trump is referring those facts to the point out the hiring practices citing DEI. So, again, there's the main point.
So he just basically saying he want to take a look at all of this stuff and, we're gonna see if we can restructure this.
Right, and that's just like him trying to restructure FEMA. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I like I said, D. Bro, again, we appreciate all the engagement here.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, but again, he's still blaming DEI. Like you said, we said he's blaming DEI. You said he isn't, and then everything you post to go to your point, it points to Trump blaming DEI. So, if it looked like a duck, walk like a duck, talk like a duck, swim like a duck, I'm gonna call it.
Must be what?
It must be a duck. So
quack, quack.
But yeah. So that's all I'm saying there. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't want to get too much in it because I'm not educated enough to speak from a point of education. And,
gotcha.
The main thing is I want to make sure that when we talk, and I'm going to go transition over here because we're getting toward the end of our show, our main show here, is I just want to make sure that, the people that need to be taken care of are taken care of. At the end of the day, you're in our airspace, you're in our country. we should be able to take care of you. You know, that should be the main focus, is ensuring that the people that are affected are number one taken care of. And again, for me, in my opinion, the best thing we could do to honor the ones that have been lost, or to ensure that we do our due diligence to ensure that it doesn't happen again. And that's my take on that.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm with you, my brother.
Yeah, you know.
What a wonderful Friday night show. I think it went well.
Well, you know,
It was
like
great.
you said,
Hey,
you know, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
hey, what'd you think? What'd you think,
Yeah.
Krinlee? We had a good show
Yeah.
on a Friday night. Missing our brother out there, Njord. Shout out to you again, my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We miss you.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, just interesting stuff. You know, interesting stuff going on. You know, not too many things going on here, you know, in dad life. You know, for me, it's you know.
I mean, we got to process all this stuff, and we got to, you know, make sure our family is safe.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about, you know, the trip we about to take, and we're going to keep having airplanes fall out the sky. Man. And me and my wife
I
going
do
to
not mean to laugh.
be
I do not mean to laugh.
no, I'm this is dad's life. This is things I'm processing, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna be scared. I ain't scared. I ain't never scared.
Right.
But the same thing is like things that go through my head is protecting my family, and I need to be able to do that as a man, as a dad, protect my children. I want to be able to travel and not have this fear or this misunderstanding or
Anxiety. Let's call it what it is.
anxiety, thinking that are they staffed today? You know, is DEI getting in the way? You know, I mean, I'm just playing.
No,
But,
I
you
get
know,
what you're saying. I don't want. I don't want that.
you know,
smoke.
I'm about to take a trip
Right.
here, you know, at the
Right.
end of the month, and I'm like, man, I just want to make it to my destination safely. So, you know, I will be praying as I usually do. I might have to be praying the whole way through, though.
Right.
You know, all 6 hours until I fall asleep.
Right. Right. Oh man. Yeah.
Get off the plane and kiss the ground.
Man, it's gonna be a whole different feeling now when you fly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so this is dad's life, man, because we got to process this for our family. We got to make the decision on whether or not we're going to take a trip. Because, I mean, you got to think about it. Me and my wife both going to be on this thing. Anything happen to us, then what?
Right. Right.
It ain't like we taking separate trips, and we do that too, you know?
Right. Yeah. No. Like I said, that is true. And you know, it's funny. You know, we're getting to the end of our show here, but one thing that popped up, and maybe we'll make this a full blown episode in the future. But you know, are you ready for are you prepared? I don't know, want to call it apocalypse or nothing like that, but are you prepared for if some kind of major national disaster happens? You know, I mean, do you got your food supplies? Do you got, you know, your generators? I mean, are you doomsday prepared? I guess if you want to call it that. You know, what emergency supplies or plans that you have in place? I mean, do you got your, you know, your pew pew? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got enough of
You
those?
know I do. You know
I'm
I
just
do.
saying.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know.
that's a real thing. There's
We
a
know
lot
New
of,
York got it.
yeah, you know, it's a lot of crazy things that are going on right now that's making people scared, right?
Me too, D. Me too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
same
D.
here. We got a little bit of things, but I was talking to the homie today. I drove out to Tracy. I was talking to the homie. Hung out with the homie for a little bit out there, and he was like, he was watching this Doomsday Prepare, and this dude had like, you know, 100 pounds of rice, 100 pounds of beans, you know, hella noodles, hella dehydrated food. You know, he had hella guns. You know, so you know, water. You know, all these different things. Like, he was ready, and he saw what he had, and he thought he was prepared. He said, "I thought I was good," and I looked at what he had. He said, "I wasn't nowhere near as what this dude had." But it's funny that, and that conversation has come up more often, that people are scared crime is gonna go up. You know, stop wearing your jewelry out because, you know, it's gonna get hard. Let these cats, you know, who was it? George Bush earlier. He cut off all sorts of Medicaid. Or remember when he had put a time limit of how long you could be on welfare, and that whole span of time, their crime spiked. You know, forget, you know, the plane falling out. I'm scared to go get gas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, they might try to get me at the gas station or something. So, you know, maybe we could have a full thing and talk about preparedness or emergency disaster preparedness. I just thought, you know, a little bit just came to my head about that. So yeah. Hey, so I need one. That's what I need, D. I need to at least get one.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, that's all I got.
Let's go.
Man.
After dark.
Okay.
What we talking about?
I don't know. So we're gonna close up the show here. We got our After Dark episode popping off here in a little bit. We kind of went into his thing, so we'll see. Again, we're just gonna continue the conversation over on that side. You guys got any end of the show shout outs before we transition over?
Shout out to all the love making that's about to happen February 14th, baby.
Oh my god.
Hey, come on, baby. Throw on a little Barry White for her, you know? Shit, kick it old school, you know? It's something different. Even if you new school, go ahead and throw a little bit. He just send a little different message, you know? A little Teddy Pendergrass, you know? Just remember when them babies gonna be born somewhere in October, November, you know.
We knew what y'all was doing.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Not me. That's funny. My daughter was born in October.
Hey.
On Halloween, actually.
See, there you go.
Right, there you go. We know what you was doing, the 9 months earlier than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
let's see here. We just want to shout out D Brute in the chat. Want to say thank you for your engagement. You brought out a lot of good topics. We love being able to engage with you guys. Shout out to shadowpackwest.com again. If you like our podcast, you want to give us a little support. Every little bit counts. You can have it at shadowpackwest.com. Right on the splash page, you become a patron for as little as $1 a month. That's going to get you access to 29 episodes, additional episodes, plus this will be our 32nd episode here, not to include all the original Dad's Life podcast episodes you have available to you. Again, any little support. Again, if you're here on YouTube, like, subscribe, share. Obviously, leave comments. Meet us here next week, or we'll keep us posted about when we're going to be going live, because I know tonight was a little off. We're normally here Saturday nights. But with that, without further ado, I want to say thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Dad's Life Podcast. Hopefully, we see you in next week's episode of the Dad's Life Podcast, where you can get your dad life, dad advice. And,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Peace